I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
So, Scarlet Nation, we are feeling the pain this morning. I am with you this morning. I've been sick, but, I got sicker watching the end of that game last night. Tanner Holden with a last-minute buzzer beater to defeat the Scarlet Knights, 67-66, in an absolute heartbreaker of a game. One of the things we've been discussing, we've been discussing a lot of things about this team, and I'm going to get into some of them in a second. But one of the things is playing on the road. This program has struggled on the road for some time, even though we are very good at home in Jersey Mike's Arena, a.k.a. the Rack. And one of the things we wanted to get out of our way early, I think most people did if you're a Rutgers fan, you wanted to get the road win out of the way early. And I think we had the Temple game at a neutral site, the Miami game on the road, were designed specifically to get those quality road wins out of the way, or neutral site wins out of the way early, because when it comes to tournament time, we are going to want to have that out of the way and check that little box on the resume. Last night, part of the reason this is so heartbreaking is because we had a real shot, a real chance to get that bugaboo, to check that box and get that quality road win against a top 25 opponent in Ohio State, not only for this season in the tournament resume, but to get that off of our back as Rutgers fans in general. We have not won at Ohio State since we've been in the Big Ten, and you wanted to win it. And down the stretch, it really did seem like the game was ours to win, and it's just an absolute heartbreaker the way it ended. And some of the... We'll talk about the controversy. We'll talk about the way that head coach Steve Peichel called the game in the last 7 seconds. But I just want to talk about some of the other things that happened in this game, which are promising, I guess, as a season-wide trend, but are even more disappointing when it turns out we lose this game. We've been talking, let's start here. We've been talking about the fact that Cam Spencer is going to need to get going, or we'd like to see Cam Spencer get going if we're going to be a formidable team this year and take a good step in the conference and otherwise. And he had struggled initially. It appeared Cam was struggling against upper-tier competition, even though he was dominating lower-tier competition outside the conference early in the year. And we saw what Cam can do when he's shooting the ball well, when he's playing good defense, when he's becoming a facilitator on offense. We hadn't seen it, though, against upper echelon competition. Well, that all changed yesterday. So we can put that out of our minds. That's a huge worry off our shoulders. Cam Spencer can play, and he can play damn well against upper-tier competition. 11 points, but 5 assists. 5 assists, 11 points, 1 rebound. Cam Spencer was throwing beautiful pinpoint passes all over the court yesterday. He also got his confidence back. He made some moves. He got in there. He hit that nice stop jumper he's good at. He hit a 3. He did what you wanted him to do, and that is a huge, huge revelation for Rutgers basketball. If Cam Spencer's going to be able to do that, that's huge for this team this year. So Cam Spencer, 29 minutes, came away, stepped up. It was great. Cliff Amori. Early in the game, it looked like he was struggling, and Cliff's never, for some reason, been the best at just grabbing that ball and holding it. Sometimes people knock it out on rebounds, on passes, and he looked a little bit like he was struggling early in the game. But the second half, Cliff came on. 16 points, 0 assists, but 8 rebounds. And he really played well in the second half. And defensively, he stepped his game up. Offensively, he stepped his game, started hitting those couple foot shots in the post. But defensively, at the end of the game, he's a big reason we even had the ball, went up by 5, played well. did what he had to do in the second half. Let's hope he can put full games together like that. Dean Reber came in, only gave 3 minutes, got a three-pointer, played decent minutes, didn't do anything great, but hit that three. Paul Mulcahy, again a facilitator, 9 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. He was also throwing great passes. Hyatt, 13 points, 2 rebounds. He came through. He did miss that three-pointer at the end of the game when we really needed it. But Mawot Mag. Early in the year, some people are questioning Mawot Mag. His offensive game obviously still needs a little work. I don't know that he'll ever be an upper echelon offensive player per se, especially with scoring. But the guy was all over the court. His defense was tenacious. His defense was pesky. His defense was consistent. He was stealing balls. He was forcing turnovers. He was like on every player who had the ball. His rebounding prowess was great. 6 rebounds, just pulling them down, playing tough down there. Caleb McConnell played tough too. A little bit of an off game offensively. Not that we were counting on Caleb to be a huge offensive player going into the season, but I do think with what we saw against Indiana, you expect that maybe he could be more of a contributor. McConnell, 5 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, but still, pretty good game from him. At the end, he misses that beautiful pass. He bobbles it. He made a great cut. He's going in for a layup, and he just completely bobbles the ball. Now, if we go up there, does it change the dynamic of the game? Yes, we have even a more comfortable lead. The momentum's even more solidly on our side, etc. But you can't play what-if games like that because it was so early towards the end of the game that who knows what other dynamics shift because of that. It becomes a butterfly effect, and who really knows what goes on at that point. So you can't play that what-if game great. Missing that free throw at the end was an absolute killer, as we saw later. But overall, one of the reasons this game is so disappointing is because every one of these players stepped up and did what they had to do in one way or another. Derek Simpson, 4 points, 1 assist, but when he came in, he missed the layup on the fast break. He was covered a bit. And that's where you see him still a little bit out of control sometimes. He's a freshman. But when he comes down on that second fast break and he actually catches the ball, pauses, rises up for a jump shot, and sinks it, that's the kind of productivity you can expect to see out of Simpson. And if we can have, and it seems like we do, because this is now 2 Big Ten games where he's played meaningful minutes, 13 minutes for him last night. If you're going to have these things happen and you're going to need to substitute guys in, then it's beautiful to have a guy like Simpson ready to go who can score, who can play within himself when need be, play in control, and put up points for us when needed. So part of the reason this game is so damn disappointing is because we finally had a full team playing all as a full team, fulfilling the roles that we had envisioned for them, and yet we still lose at the very end. Now, this is just par for the course in terms of Big Ten officiating. And I don't want to be that guy who just cries about the refs. And every time I make a video talking about the refs, somebody has to say, shut up about the refs. But look, we had this game a couple of years ago in Ohio State where, players were actually tweeting about the refs because it was that bad. And now you're looking at this game, and from the start, the first half, I believe it started off 7 fouls to 2. The second half, to the refs' credit, there were a couple calls towards the end of the first half and in the second half that went Rutgers' way. It is what it is. You're not going to call all the fouls on one team. But the officiating seemed a bit questionable. A lot of our guys were in foul trouble, and it just is the way it is when we're on the road, especially against Ohio State. But, well, and I'll talk about the officiating at the end of the game. At first, I want to talk about Pike's decision to foul with about 5 seconds left. And you have a lot of people, there's 2 sides to this debate. And I was thinking, I'll be honest, when we were sitting there and Ohio State's ready to inbounds the ball, I'm thinking, and the commentators were thinking too, well, give the foul, because for some reason the game just felt that way. Now, a lot of people, rightfully so, and you can have more than one opinion on this, are saying, well, this is the best 3-point defense in the league, meaning Rutgers. We've been playing good defense the whole game, let alone the last few minutes where we're playing very good defense, the last few possessions. Why not put the ball in your defense's hands? That's what you're known for. Don't foul. Let Ohio State come down and try to create a shot and try to sink a three on their own. And 9 out of 10 times I would agree with that philosophy. 9 out of 10 times, because this team, and we've seen it under Peichel, generally does pretty well in those situations and is usually able, more times than not, I'd say, to stifle a team, especially because we had just stifled them on 2 prior possessions. So why not just let the guys play? Understood. But the reason I disagree with this particular game is the way Ohio State was shooting, and it turned out the same way at the end, unfortunately. The way that they were throwing up prayers all game and they were sinking them deep in the shot clock, off balance, half behind the backboard, over on the sideline from way downtown. They were sinking everything when they needed it from 3. So the feel of that particular game, the fact you were on the road, the way Ohio State was playing, I understood the strategy to foul. But here's where I disagree with how it was executed. You got 7 seconds on the clock. And again, don't want to go into conspiracies or cry, but the scoreboard operator, it took a long time to put points on at the end, and the clock wasn't starting really on a dime, just saying. So you got 7 seconds left, and you foul with like 5 seconds left. That's too much time. That's too much time, and we paid for it at the end of the game. You gotta let him run up the court a little bit. Then you foul. We should have fouled with 4 seconds on the clock. You foul with 4 seconds on the clock, then Paul goes down and sinks 2 free throws. Now it's a whole different game. Because now there's another rebound. Now you're down to 2 seconds. 2.5 seconds left. There was 5 seconds left, which, whatever. Even after they made the free throws and we inbounded, it's still 5, but whatever. But that's why you got to let some more seconds tick off the clock before you foul. So I don't disagree with the strategic decision that Pike made. I disagree with the execution of that decision. And I think that cost us pretty bad. So that's where I stand on that. Now, Paul sinks both the free throws. People are saying Cam Spencer was open on the second inbounds. Paul could have given it to Cam instead of Caleb. To me, Cam might have been open for a second. It was still more dangerous. They seem to be honing in on Cam a little better. And it's not like Caleb is not a reliable free throw shooter this year. I think that's the first free throw he missed. So you still have a solid chance going to one of your veteran seniors. That's who was there. It was Cam and it was Caleb. You inbounds it to Caleb. Okay. He makes the first one. He's got to make the second one. He just missed. It's tough. It's a high-pressure environment. It is what it is. You got to make that free throw. You make that free throw, the whole dynamic is different. But you didn't make that free throw. So now they can win with a 3. And again, they've been making acrobatic, ridiculous shots all night. It's been infuriating. I was pulling my hair out. But they were doing it. And they did it again. Now, this is the shot heard round the country because everybody's talking about it. And nobody's really mincing words. From the Big Ten Network to third party, just college basketball observers, to the Rutgers faithful, et cetera, the consensus opinion appears to be that shot should not have counted. And I thought he fell out of bounds. I thought we were going to get a foul call when he was bringing the ball up the court because I thought he was out of bounds to start. I thought we were going to get a foul call. I thought we bumped him out of bounds. I thought he was out of bounds, bringing the ball up. And then the shooter is clearly standing well out of bounds. Clearly standing well out of bounds. Before he possesses the ball, comes back in, does not reestablish himself before he gets the ball and shoots it up. And it was just you missed the out of bounds, the player bringing it up, stepping out of bounds, which I can understand because it's close and you want to swallow your whistle. You want to give him a shot at a prayer. You don't want to decide the game on an out of bounds call that's pretty iffy. But it's close. But okay. But then the rule is clear. You're standing out of bounds, so you're not really being guarded. There's no chance for the defender to deny you the ball. You're standing outside the field of play. You come on, you shoot it. Those types of things seem like they're constantly reviewable. You can't review it. So if you look at the player out of bounds, you look at him stepping out of bounds, bringing the ball up, and then you look at the rule book. I hate to be this guy, but when you look at what happened and you look at the rules, this is a win for Rutgers, really. The shot doesn't count. It didn't count. They just counted it. So we lose a game we really won, but part of it's on us too for the questionable execution of the foul and for one of our better players missing a free throw. And let's face it, even with the missed call, Ohio State did physically sink that shot. It went in. So it is what it is. It's just really frustrating because you could come out of December, you could come out of this first little hint of Big Ten play at 2-0, going back into your out-of-conference schedule, and with a really good road wing banked and atop the Big Ten standings. Now you're at 500, like a bunch of other teams are going to be. You have another road loss, and now you go back into your out-of-conference schedule. So it's just it's really disappointing. But you can't dwell on it because we've got rival Seton Hall coming into Jersey Mike's on Sunday, and you got Wake Forest coming up. And so you better get back to the grindstone. And I think, a lot of people out there on the Rutgers side of things are saying, well, just rejoice because look how good this team is. We lost by 1 point on the road to Ohio State, and all our players came alive, and we know what we have. I mean, that's great. And I agree to an extent, but this isn't also 4 years ago. We're not trying to get moral victories at this juncture. This is a tournament team. We're trying to make the tournament, and we're trying to do some damage in the tournament. We're trying to contend for a Big Ten title every year at this point. Not that we're the favorites, but we're contenders. So losing on the road to Ohio State, being 500, 1-1 in the Big Ten instead of 2-0 and banking that road win is not good. Yes, it's encouraging, but you got to start winning some of these road games. Some of the encouraging games got to turn into W's because we're contenders. We're not just taking moral victories. So I understand, and I've said it. I said it on this show just now. I understand that the team is coalescing now. Now we're starting to see everybody fit into their roles. We're confident they can all fulfill their roles. We know what the rotation of the bench is. We know what we can do, especially with guys like Simpson and Woolfolk there that we didn't know we really had and what we had in them. Now look at them blossoming. You have the team, great, but now we got to string some wins together. We can't keep winning at home and then going on the road and dropping games now. Enough of the dropping games on the road. But now we're coming into a Big Ten schedule where you better pull one out of your hat because it's not going to be easy. At any Big Ten road game is never going to be easy. And especially if you're Rutgers, especially with the way the officiating is with Rutgers, it's not going to be easy. So we better win one of these. And that Michigan State game at MSG, I already requested my tickets. I hope you guys, if you have season tickets, you request your tickets. And if not, you buy them. Let's paint that arena scarlet. That's a neutral site game, even though it's right across the river. For me, anyway. A little bit up the highway and across the river for a lot of you other guys. But it can and should be done. We've got to win that game. We got to bank these neutral site and road games. I don't want to be at the end of the season wondering. Now, I'm not trying to harp on that because I don't even know that we're a bubble team right now. We could be solidly in by then. Solidly in. We have the potential to be, I'll tell you that much. And especially if Paul gets back to full speed and Caleb shakes out some kinks and things like that, Cliff gets back into full speed. I think there's a ton of potential, but the season's now. We're already playing conference games, so there's no just talking about potential anymore. It's time to do it. We got to start winning games. So I'm not ragging on the team or anything. It's a disappointing loss. A lot of it's on the officiating. A lot of it's on other things, but it is what it is. It's a loss. 1-1 in the Big Ten. 6-3 overall. Let's go string together some wins now, starting this Sunday with Seton Hall. Now, if you guys haven't been yet, there's a Winter Village in the afternoon. So it's a cool thing to check out. I expect it to be a lively atmosphere and crazy, just like it was against Indiana. Get there early. Wear scarlet. It's a scarlet out. Get there early. Get loud. Let's win against Seton Hall. Let's get revenge for last year, what they did to us at the Rock. And let's start stringing some wins together. Also, congratulations to football punter Adam Korsak. He won the Ray Guy Award for the best punter nationally. If you want any more proof about how the Big Conference treats us like a stepchild, just look at the fact that the Big Ten media voted him third team, I think, all Big Ten, and Big Ten voted him second team all Big Ten. Now I think he probably was a little better last year, but he even said it. This year they had a net negative 11 punting yards. Net negative 11 punt return yards against them. That's how good Korsak was this year. So I don't know. They did give McConnell the Defensive Player of the Year last year, but they can. This conference can be suspect sometimes with us, man. They really can be suspect with us sometimes. But nonetheless, congrats to Adam Korsak. He's going to play in the Senior Bowl. I wish him a lot of luck in his endeavors. I wonder how his game translates to the NFL, but we will soon see. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, right below me, it takes a millisecond, fraction of a second, right below me, click subscribe. There's a subscribe button right under me. Just click subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. We're trying to grow this community. We're trying to bring you more and more Rutgers content from all different aspects of Rutgers athletics. And maybe we'll even branch into other things concerning the university, too, and the university community. So if you're a Rutgers fan, even if you're a Big Ten basketball fan, I'm looking to have more guests on here to break down games from other opponents, other teams. If you're whatever fan you are and you just enjoy talking about college hoops or Rutgers hoops, just take a second and smash that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. The channel has been growing. To all our new subscribers, thank you very much. To all the viewers, click like, and thank you for watching. Also, if you guys are interested in Rutgers football, I have a new article out on the Banks regarding Coach Schiano and how he has to hire from the outside. If you just type in Google or go to On the Banks, it's in order to re-energize Rutgers football, Coach Schiano must hire from the outside by myself, Larry K., Lawrence Crane. Go ahead and look that article up. Until then, guys, let's do work Sunday. Let's get back on track. Let's win our games, and everybody enjoy their weekend until then. Talk to you later.